All right, we have a very special guest with us today. He is the Ohio Secretary of State, Frank LaRose. Welcome. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. So you just got done doing an event, meeting with African-American business leaders.
Yeah.
When I first heard about the law that just passed, I was like, I got to talk to him because I've went through the MBE process and it's a nightmare.
Sure.
So tell people what you worked on getting passed that just got signed into law.
So you're right. We were just having a minority small business roundtable, and this is, I think, number 18 or 19. We've done them all over the state. And one of the first ones we did was up here in Cleveland. It was actually out on the east side at the MLK Library. And there was a guy that stood up at the midpoint of this conversation, and he said, I've been a business owner for 15 years. I've got a successful business. I've got a handful of employees. He said, the problem is I've had to prove I was black 5 different times. And I said, okay. You got my attention. Explain it to me. And he said, to become an MBE certified business owner with the city of Cleveland, I had to go into City Hall and pay their fees and fill out their forms. And then I had to do it again with the county and pay their fees and fill out their forms. And then the next county over, when I went over to Lake County, I had to do it there. And then I had to do it down in Summit County, and I had to do it differently with the state. He said, I've had to prove it like 5 different times. And obviously, that's something that shouldn't be happening because it's standing in the way of him growing his business. So here was the idea that we had. We said, let's try to make it reciprocal so it works all over the state. We got a Republican and a Democrat to work together to get this done. Vernon Sykes from Akron, Kirk Schuring from Canton, 2 members of the state Senate, and they got it sponsored. We got it passed, and it was signed into law by the governor just a couple of weeks ago. Now, what this means is that we're going to work to build this program now that the law's passed that allows us to do that, so that we can have reciprocal MBE so that you only have to do it once. And you want to have that balance, right? So it's, you don't want to let the phonies in the door, right? You want to make sure that it's legitimately only minority business owners that get this benefit. But at the same time, you don't want it to be so cumbersome that it dissuades people, makes people not want to participate. You want it to be simple and secure at the same time.
So talk a little bit about, for people who may not know, because this impacts MBE, WB, and veteran-owned businesses, correct?
Yep.
All right. Talk a little bit about the importance of those certifications, why it mattered to do this.
So those are certifications that help you get a little head start maybe over others, give you a little bit of advantage. You still got to have your business plan together. You still got to have a good product or service. Right. It really, it's not the silver bullet that's going to transform your whole business. But what it is once you're ready to get your start, it's going to give you a little boost. State agencies are supposed to do 15% of their business with minority contractors. We were just talking about in here, one of my frustrations is that a lot of state agencies don't hit those targets. Our office does. The Ohio Secretary of State's office has made that a priority. I've made that a priority. And we're at this point over 20%. And so we didn't just hit that 15%. We went above and beyond. We're like 23, 24%. But a lot of state agencies will try to hit those targets. And so that's they look for those MBE businesses, but also private sector companies. A lot of companies have said, as part of our corporate responsibility, we want to do business with Black-owned businesses, female-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses. But in some cases, what those businesses want to know, what the big companies want to know, is that you're a certified MBE, so that they know that they can do business with you as a way of trying to engage with Black-owned businesses. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and you talked a little bit about this in there, and you just mentioned it briefly here. You and your office has kind of been a leader on this. Why has this been such a priority to you?
Because I've seen how entrepreneurship can transform a family, can lift a community. I think that it's a courageous thing to start a business. And it's a hard thing to start a business. You're probably, as the business owner, you're the first one to come to work and you're the last one to go home. You probably think about it all weekend. It's a lot of work. But it's also a way to create generational wealth, to create something that maybe you can pass on to your children and then they can pass on to theirs. And so in that sense, it's a way to help lift a community and help make people more prosperous, to help make people give people an opportunity to live their dream, to have a comfortable lifestyle, to be able to buy the things that they want to have and travel the places they want to travel. That, to me, is what entrepreneurship's all about. It's about helping people live their American dreams, and we want Ohio to be the place where they do that.
And I'm glad you said that, because that actually goes to my next question. Because I'm always, like, when I'm talking to folks outside of Ohio, I'm always bragging about the state.
Yeah.
And I have actually one of my personalities, Kira Davis, she is in California, and she talks about how much of a nightmare it is to start a business in California. Yeah. Talk about how easy it is to start a business in the state of Ohio.
We make it easy. The Ohio Secretary of State's office is the place that happens. Most people do it on our website, which is ohiosos.gov. We charge the lowest fee of any state in the Midwest. It's just $99 to incorporate your business. And we most times can get you an answer within 24 hours. Now, let's compare that to other states. Many states, it takes 3 or 4 months to get your articles of incorporation, which is kind of that official certificate from the state that says you're a business owner. In most states, it takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even months. In Ohio, we usually do it within 24 hours. And there's all different ways that you can structure your business. You can be an LLC, or you can be an S-Corp. Even nonprofit corporations, those start at the Ohio Secretary of State's office as well. So if you have questions, just go to ohiosos.gov and check it out. And there's a hotline there. If you have questions, you can call 877-SOS-OHIO. We make that available in a variety of different languages as well for people. And so, we try to make it easy. We want Ohio to be the place where you grow your business.
We're talking with Secretary of State Frank LaRose. I know you have a hard stop here in a little bit, but one of the other things you were talking about is one of the other responsibilities that you have as Secretary of State, which is voting.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about our process, how it's in Ohio, it's easy to vote but hard to cheat?
That's it. It's easy to vote and it's hard to cheat. We pride ourselves on this. It's a thing that, to me, is so much bigger than one party or the other. This is about the very foundation of our democracy. Ohio makes it easy to vote with 28 days of early voting. Anybody that wants to can vote from the comfort of home by mail. And if you want to wait till Election Day, you can vote at the polls from 6:30 a.m. till 7:30 p.m. So not only do we make it easy to vote with all those different choices, and by the way, weekend voting, evening early voting, there's only 5 states in the country that offer Sunday early voting, and Ohio's one of those. A lot of faith communities have organized around that. They call it Souls to the Polls, where people will go down to the Board of Elections and vote after church on Sunday. There's only 5 states in the country that do that, and we're one of them. In fact, there's only 20 states in the whole country that have any weekend voting at all, and we're one of those as well. So it's easy to vote here, but it's also hard to cheat. We make it secure. We remove dead people from the voter rolls. That shouldn't be controversial. It's not. We do that on a monthly basis. We maintain up-to-date voter lists when people move out of state. We'll contact them and get their address updated. And so we also have bipartisan oversight. A lot of people don't realize this either. Everything that's done in elections is completely bipartisan. I mean, it takes 2 people to screw in a light bulb almost at the Board of Elections. You got to have a Democrat and a Republican there. Voting machines are never connected to the internet. There's always a paper trail, so you can go back afterwards and audit it and make sure that it was secure. And by the way, a lot of talk lately about auditing elections. We audit every election in Ohio every time they're held, so a couple times a year. And when we have audited the elections in the past couple of years, we've had a 99.98% accuracy rate. And that tells you that you can trust that when your ballot is cast, your voice will be heard in a fair and an accessible election. Voter fraud and voter suppression are both rare in Ohio. Neither of those things are ever acceptable, so we're going to keep them rare.
All right, let everybody know how to, if they have any questions, how to get in contact with the Secretary of State's office, find out more about the stuff you've been talking about.
So again, our phone number, 877-SOS-OHIO, is one good way. You can follow me on social media. It's just my name, at Frank LaRose, on all the different platforms. Our website is ohiosos.gov. That's the main website, but then we've got a special one just for voting, voteohio.gov. And right there at voteohio.gov, you can look up the district lines, because those have changed recently, so you want to see what district you live in. You can look up your voter registration to make sure it's up to date. If it's not, you can get registered right there on the website at voteohio.gov. You can find out information about the upcoming election. You can even sign up to be a poll worker, because it takes 55,000 people to run an election each time. That's half the seating capacity at Ohio Stadium. Think about that.
Right.
And so every time we have an election, it takes 55,000 Ohioans to come out and work the polls on election day. That means half Republicans and half Democrats again. And so we're always recruiting people people to sign up for that, and they pay you for it. It's not gonna be a ton of money. It's a great chance to serve your community though, and make a little money on the side as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary, for spending time with us. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right.